party. You know, so how wako happy? Wako happy? It's not about the person. And that's what they've been doing. That's what Andrew is fighting for. You know, wamekuwa wakifanya. Right now, they're saying women are still not enough. Do you know in the NADCO report, they were saying they want to add more women so that they meet the 1/3 rule in bunge. But tukianza kusema, okay, wacha tulichague our mama. They will not allow you. They will not allow you to say, okay, we front Pauline, we front Mariam, we front Rita or whoever. No, they'll say, these are the people that we have presented before you. And that's now what everyone is agitating. No maana kila mse hapa hivi amejam. So it's not about the person. It's not about Rich being in cabinet. It's about the movement being felt in the cabinet.
Rich, I want to speak to you before you speak.
One issue yenye iko hapo hivyo. Like kuko na hivyo issue ya hiyo sit at the table, yes. Yenye nafaa kukua spearhead vitu mob. Mimi kama mimi as a person najua kuko na taxes zenye zimekuwa up on my end. Unacheki like kuna vitu zenye
zimekuwa Rich, just give me just 2 minutes. I want to tell you something and then you tell me whether this is a good direction, because mimi naona nyinyi bado, you guys are the youth, but mimi naona bado mna focus so much on national issues. So I'm going to ask you something. Did you know that the Youth Enterprise Development Fund has been cut by 55% this year, from 500 billion to 225 million? Don't you think that should be the point of focus for you guys as youth? Munaanza hapo, why was the youth budget cut? Number 2, don't you think you need to ask for an audit of that youth budget? How is it being used? Who are there spearheading that budget? Is it the youth? Or is it the bloomers?
Mariam,
boomers?
Mariam,
yes, boomers.
And
I think, no, kidogo, kiasi tu, Kibe. Just give me a moment.
Hold up. Listen to the point I'm making.
I'm trying to challenge Rich to focus on issues first that deal with youth.
You're making the same mistake because you think that there are issues which are bigger than the other. So that's why you're redirecting him and telling him, hey, stop looking here.
No,
hold up.
Kipe, the problem is that they're all over the board.
But listen to this. These issues cannot be tackled here. None of these issues can be tackled here. That's what you guys are mistaking. These issues are tackled on the ground level. So you cannot bring at the issues here and say, you guys should be focused on the fact that the Youth Development Fund has been cut by... No, how? Who's going to tackle that? The youth needed...
It's them. That's why I'm telling them.
No, hold up. Listen to this part. It's a very good part for you, Mariam. There are too many issues that everybody is coming in with. Everybody is coming in with a new issue. This one wants taxes. You can hear Rich right now talking about taxes. You're telling them redirect your anger to the Youth Development Fund, whatever. Somebody else will come and say, oh, you guys, you know what? Without an IEBC, you guys are doing nothing. Another guy will come and say, oh, you know what? There's this new, what bill was that? You keep like, you want to throw in everybody's face. These issues cannot be handled by everybody. That's why there has to be representation. Gen Z, wapende, wasipende. There has to be representation. So that these guys themselves who are representing them can go agitate one by one in the relevant offices. Si atu kupayuka tu kwa spaces kusema, you know, we need to do this, we need to do that. Where is the follow-up? Who are you telling? Because that's the whole idea. Everybody wants to complain, but who are you telling? Who? Nani akona notepad? Not bad. Who has a notebook here, writing all your complaints? At the one day, they'll follow them up one by one. That person has to be a representative, and he has to have a list, and that list has to be in priority of highest to the lowest. So when this lady came here and said, oh, we have a 50-point plan, I was like, no, that's too long. A 50-point plan is for committees. It has to be broken down to many, many different subcommittees. But you guys here just throwing suggestions. You don't have the fucking power. Get the power. Without the power, you're wasting your time talking. Get the fucking
suggestion is
power.
giving us a constitution.
No, wait, Kibe, please, you need to hear me out. You know, something that Kina Rich, and this is something that he didn't understand me in the beginning. Kidogo, to give me just 1 minute to say this, Kibe. I told Rich in the beginning that they will have to come up as a group of people who have a plan. And then they have to sell the plan to the bigger group of people. Now, what they need to note is that the person at the top of the hierarchy, which is the person with the plan, is going to have the highest benefit. But even if he has this benefit, it must impact maybe 1,000 or 2,000 more people. So the reason why I'm zeroing in on the youth fund issue is because one of the major problems is the joblessness. So that is one area that can actually fix that problem. And that's why I'm saying they need to focus on one area and then come up with solutions for that particular area. But the person who's on top of the hierarchy, whether it's Rich or whoever is going to spearhead this whole thing, is going to have the most benefit. Probably they're going to have an appointment if they have a proper plan to manage something there. But they have to make sure it has impact on other youth. Are you understanding me, Kibe?
No, you're still going around the same point, right? When Raila in 2007, when he was screwed over, he said, this country will know no peace until you guys give me half of this fucking government. You, Mariam, are busy telling these guys to go chasing their tail with stupid agendas. Oh, you know, the youth fund has been cut by, fuck that youth fund. You can start a whole new youth fund.
Okay, so what's your plan to do? What is the advice that you want to give them?
Yeah. Hold up. Because the youth fund ndio mnadanganywa nayo. Utu funds ndio mnadanganywa nayo. Una check Osama was given 30 pieces of silver. Immediately. Akawachana nayo because mnapenda tu vitu shiny. Without power, you're wasting your time. Raila asked for power. He said, I want this number of seats here. I want this and I want this and I want this. You guys are asking for, hey, reject finance bill. Good. What next? Don't have a budget for wife and husband. Okay, good, done.
Can I speak?
Hold up, Jean. Let's hear from engineer, then I'll come to you. Engineer Shitote.
Okay, all right.
Andrew talking about power. I want to tell Mariam that whatever she's trying to say that we have to go to that table with, she should know that at this point, we are still amateurs on that table. We can't go to that table to discuss with people who have more knowledge. They are too smart. They can turn around everything. The only thing we have is the power to threaten their positions. If we threaten their position, these people will turn down. Because what Mariam is trying to attack Rich and tell us is telling us to tone down our language, to tone down our tone of addressing these issues, and the only language we have is to riot and threaten these people, threaten their offices. And Keeper said something when we were trying to say that Gen Zs wakuwe na constituents. The only way ya kufanya hiyo constituency ikuwe active is to utilize this moment ambayo wave iko ya Gen Z, to radicalize Gen Z washike kura. Because as much we talk, voters in Kenya, all Gen Z when on the street, see voters in Kenya. They only account for maybe 20% of voters in Kenya. And that is what giving these politicians big head. They know in as much as these people are talking, they don't have, even if we go to by-election, they threaten certain MP, they cannot even remove a single MCA in their village. They have numbers, but they are not voters. So let us radicalize this Gen Z to be voters and to threaten Ruto, his position. Our MPs threaten them from those two positions. But now to go to negotiating table, Mariam, we are still amateurs on that table. We can't make it. The way we said reject finance bill, they walitusikia haraka sana. Lakini hii negotiating table munaenda, you are going to lose it.
Engineer, before you go, so when you say we go there,
yes,
tunaenda kuuliza which position? We want the deputy president position.
No.
Or what do we want? Ukisema tuchukue kura nani?
I think
hawa watu naambia wachukue kura hawana pesa. Hawana pesa.
I think wewe unanipata wrong. Once Gen Zs wako na kura kila mtu, tutasikizwa. Kwa sababu watajua once Gen Z wamesema ni Kibe, tunaenda kupea kura kwa hasira, watampea. Na kama ni MP ata lose position yake. These people will tone down their voice.
But you see, and I think maybe I saw where Lutomia was going, engineer.
Yeah.
That is a defense move. It's not an offense move. Because sasa wewe unataka wakusikize, akina nani wakusikize? Na meza iko hapo, unaweza chukua meza wewe mwenyewe. Unataka usikizwe na nani? Are you getting my point?
I'm getting it, but I think
because if today let's assume we are living in a dream world. All the people who are and let's not even call them Gen Z anymore, because you're Gen Z inafanya si tuokotwe, si ndio? So to say all the people who are aggrieved, we form one political party. Okay?
Yes.
All the people who are aggrieved, and in this political party we're going to have voting, but it's going to be all electronic. It's all going to happen, like the way it happens in Estonia. And then that one person is on who's going to represent this political party when it comes to 2027. Do you think that we would agree on that? You see, that's the thing. So let's assume that's a good idea. We say, anyway, this is a good idea. It would make sense that we use this outrage that we have right now to put some action behind it, go all the way out, and try and put as many people of the Gen Z in public office as possible, elective office kwanza especially.
Yes.
So do you think that would ever happen?
It can happen if we utilize the moments that tumekuwa nazo Kenya. Hii moment ya watu kwenda hadi parliament, hiyo energy vijana wako nayo. Wanaenda IBC, wanaregister, wanarudi street. Hapo hiyo language wanasiasa wataisikia, because they will know there is something going on. But now, mimi hata watu wakiblame Osama, I'm the one person blaming Osama. We've gone to that table too early. Too early. And these people, they have countered us and will never recover. And that's what I know. Unless we go back to our drawing board and we go with our tune.
I'm actually
like
happy
it was.
I'm actually happy that it happened the way it happened, because it would have been worse had it continued. Just imagine if we had continued into the movement for another 2-3 weeks with such a snake amongst us. That would have killed us even more, bro. So let's take our L's and keep it moving. Anything else you want to say, engineer? I want to go back to... Yeah.
Kitu ingine ni, another thing is, there is representation umesema lazima tukue nayo. So representation, si lazima tunakuwa representation waende ati waongee na rais. We have to have leaders ambao tunaweza kaa chini to come up na hizo points Mariam anataka. Unaona? Sahi kila mtu ako na points zake. So to organize our representative akuwe na hizo point ya kila mtu anataka, tunapeana priority. Hii ndio tunataka kwanza. To some extent, I agree with Mariam. Most of us, we don't know what we are agitating for. And because we don't have leadership. That's it.
Thank you, engineer. Let me try and clear this board a bit. Jean.
Yes.
Is
sorry.
it Jean or Jean?
It's Jean.
Okay, I'm trying to be chic here. Okay, go ahead.
No. I actually do agree with Kibe that I usually have a phrase, right? frame or be framed, or F and be effed, right? If you walk in a table, you always have to have framed your idea or your agenda, whatever it is. But if you walk in a room without an agenda, your agenda will be defined for you, right? So I think engineer or even Kibe said we went into the table too early, right? But there's something that comes with experience that the Gen Xers have that the Gen Z can utilize, right? And so I think we all across both generations, we have to work together, right? If of course we have to take our country back, right? And I think if you have no power, you have no voice. If you have no representation, you have no voice, right? Because you're scattered everywhere, right? So I get Miriam's point of saying you're scattered everywhere, and trying to bring in the agenda. But also I think it feeds into what Kibe is saying. There is no representation. Therefore, there is no agenda, right? And therefore, your agenda is being defined for you, right? I did get a chance to and I think maybe the last 2 weeks I've spent a whole lot of listening to, these spaces. I'm one person that probably I haven't even, I probably haven't never listened to a space, but the last few weeks I've listened a lot, just listening, and at some point we sound like we are just complaining. Yes, it's good to complain, but at some point the complaining has to stop and the actions have to start, or the agenda needs to start taking shape, right? Because then if you walk into the table, the way engineer said, without that agenda being defined, or it's too early, then you don't know what you want. And the other side says, oh, they're just everywhere, right? But then they're already defining the agenda and continuing the agenda, right? And that agenda is saying, I even think there's a point that the president chuckled when somebody commented about like, oh yeah, we are going to vote you out, something to that agenda. And he just chuckled, right? And it's in a way of saying, yeah, I've already defined your agenda for you because you're everywhere. So I...
he chuckled because the guy was telling him, he started by saying, I don't have rent, and I'm here, I am jobless, and Your Excellency, I will mobilize people to get you out.
Yes, yeah. Like... So he chuckled, of that, because he's just like, what can you do with that agenda of like, I have no rent, right? That's not an agenda. So I think it's important, having representation and vetting that representation very well to the point that they are going to represent a collective agenda, right? And that collective agenda, of course, there are many people who've talked with so many points and what have you not, right? I mean, the AI space, I would have loved to just capture all those sentiments and extract the key points, right? But I think having a collective agenda and having a well-vetted representation that cannot be bought, or whatever now people are saying, some people are bought, some people whatever, right? That's distraction, right? And it's because we don't have a collective agenda, right? And that collective agenda helps being defined by the people who have experience to mentor the people who have no experience, right? There is no, like when we start throwing generations to each other, then people miss out, right? The Gen Zs will miss out a lot, and it will take for them a long time to get to where we are, right? But it takes very easy, a shorter period if you tap into somebody's experience. Apo now naje, how do we go here, right? Because we have some sort of experience that we can help along the way. So that's my 2 cents. And thank you, Kibe, for the opportunity to speak. Oh, I'm done.
Thank you, Jen. Jen sounds just like Mariam. They come from the same school, I'm sure. Yeah, they wear red bottom heels, I'm sure. These were the financiers of the campaign. Where is that money now? We need it.
What campaign?
Yeah, we need it. We need the money. We need to keep the fight moving. Sell a few red bottoms.
Yeah, no. I mean, I just listened. I never sent any money, but I'm happy to mentor people who, would love to.
The movement needs money, and it needs women at the forefront. So send your daughters to the forefront, and make sure they are wearing those tight trousers and tight tops, so the police will have a problem before they, the first line of defense. It's beautiful. All right, thank you, Jane. Who else do we have here before I go back to my regular people? Civilized Rebel, what's up?
What's up, bro? Hey, can you hear me?
100%.
All right. Thank you for holding the space, man. So mine is to just say that we are dealing with betrayal and division, which is a tactic that the government has used for many years. And in any movement, there will be individuals who betray the cause, who succumb to the lure of power or intimidation. So we must recognize that the government continues to use divide and conquer tactics to weaken our resolve. So our strength lies in our unity and our ability to stay focused on our goals. So we must not give traitors a platform to let their actions derail our mission. Instead, we need to move on, learn from these betrayals, and reinforce our commitment to our shared vision. So naona watu wengi sana wana concentrate na sijui Osama alifanya nini, and hizi vitu zinafanya to lose focus on the things that we should be talking about actually. If you remember ile time kila msee alikuwa ana focus na reject finance bill, we were all speaking in one voice and we were hard because kila msee alikuwa like on the streets. The goal was one, and we went and spoke in one voice now to make sure that your finance bill were rejected and all. So mine is to say that as much as we are all saying Ruto must go, and it's the thing that's trending right now, but what next after this guy goes? Like if you want to eat a bull, I don't think unaweza enda kama umeichukua yote uichemshe. You need to cut it into pieces and eat one, like it will disintegrate pole pole. So hata hii government hakuna vile tunaweza endea the head ati tuseme tu ati Ruto must go and tudhani ati itakuwa that easy. We need to have clear objectives, and to initiate effective change, we must streamline our efforts by focusing on one objective at a time. A good start is the reconstitution of the IEBC. Because as we all know, our electoral process.
No, civilized. I will not do that today. No, I refuse. I have said no.
What do you mean?
No, we shall not have that talk of what we need to do. We have discussed that for over 2 weeks, bro. What we need to do. What action have you put behind this talk that you have right now? Because every time you say what we need to do, you take away the responsibility from yourself and give it to somebody else. Now, who are these motherfucking ghosts you guys are giving instructions? Who are these ghosts that are out there just waiting to hear from civilized society or a reunion? Civilized what? Rebel. That is just, this guy at 12:27 is waiting to hear what civilized rebel will say and write it on a piece of paper and go action it. Who are you talking to?
I'm talking to the people in the movement, you people.
Why are you talking to us about actions that are in your head? Isn't this what you want?
So I thought that holding these spaces is about.
No, we are talking. Forget about
us giving opinions.
Forget about the spaces. We're just having a conversation. Mm-hmm. Why can't you just stick with the conversation? Why are you running away?
Oh no, I'm not running away. I'm
so, Mike, it's just a question. When was the last time you were questioned, my nigga? So I can't question you because now what? You are in your feelings.
No. You can question me. I'm listening. Question.
So I'm asking, where is the action behind the talk? Because we've been doing a lot of talking and no action. Na jana mkaona watu wa Yumbet mkakaa chini mkaingia kwa space ya Prezo. Na hiyo makelele yenu yote umejipata kwa space ya Prezo, and now you're complaining about Osama. So what I'm trying to tell you is this: I'm taking you away from the talking to the doing. Okay? We have sat at the talking for too long. What is the action behind what we are saying?
And I think that's the point I was trying to raise. Like, if we stick to one objective at a time, like we did with the reject finance bill, and we all go to the streets with one aim and work on one objective at a time, that's an action, isn't it? Like, if you go to the streets next week and say we want the IBC reconstituted, is that not action?
How do you decide which one, which agenda to go with to the streets?
Depending on the ones that are of high priority, because the only way you're gonna be able to
how do we know which one is a high priority?
By discussing, like you're doing right now. And I give my suggestion, another person can give their own suggestion.
So that's why I took you to that place and I asked you, who has the notebook? Who's writing this shit down? And that's what Gen Z has.
I would expect everyone else is.
That's what Gen Z has been afraid of for the longest time, because you guys are afraid of taking responsibility. You are afraid of taking responsibility. That's why you like talking, because all you can do is tell people what to do, not you. Everybody else around you. Not you. I will push.
Okay, what solution do you have, Mr. Kibe?
Solution to what? What's the problem?
You say that all we do is talk and we need to take action.
It's a question I'm asking you. Why not just answer the question? What's the problem?
We all know the problem is bad governance in the country and corruption and everything that's happening.
So how do you get rid of bad governance? By introducing good governance, right?
Exactly.
And how do you introduce good governance? By introducing good people into the system. Is that a reality?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Or creating a whole new system as well. You can do that.
That's right.
But that wouldn't work for Kenya, because we're not that kind of people. So the only way.
Why would it not work? Mm-hmm.
I mean, how do you see a revolution working in Kenya? People still have to go home and be on the internet.
Sure.
Kenya is not good for revolution. Kenya is good for maandamano, and only one day. Beyond one day, we are done. So my point to you is this, which is why I was taking you in the first place, is that unless the solutions start coming through, then this movement is going to die just like that, because it cannot be a movement of just complaints, because nobody is writing your complaints down. Nobody is sitting down saying, oh, so this is what this person is saying. Nobody gives a flying fuck. What you're supposed to do is, whatever it is you want, you go get it for yourself. Don't ask for it, go get it. So that's the thing. We are sitting here asking, thinking that the government is sitting with us here listening, writing down on a piece of paper all our demands. That does not exist. You cannot fight defensively. It doesn't matter how bad as you are. You cannot win by defense. There has never been anybody who won at just by defending themselves. That is a strategy for losers. So we have to get out.
So how do you take action, bro?
We start now. There's no time for tomorrow. We decide right now, this minute. You come up with an idea, you better be the one to run with that idea. Unaelewa? Usikuja udamp idea kwetu,
Yes.
atutudampie unawambia, hey, here is the idea, I've dumped it on you, now that is your problem. And then come back 1 year later say, I told you so. I told you guys. No. Somebody has to take responsibility. But also that means that somebody has to take the hit.
So do you think it's a good idea for us to have one clear objective at a time, like I suggested?
I think first you need to get the power before the objectives. Because objectives ni mob. Unaelewa? Issues ni mingi. Na issues
I understand that.
And issues, different issues arise every day. So today's issue will not matter tomorrow. So if you are only here for that issue, ofisi yako imeisha.
Okay, mi nikisema we need to focus on one objective in a time and suggest IBC. I did not mean that has to be the issue that we need to focus on first. Kama sahi nimesikia kuna watu wanaenda on Monday to support the Ministry of Health our nurses and all, which is a clear objective. That's also another example. We can like focus on one ministry at a time. Kama ni education nini. That's my point. Badala ya kusema kila siku Thomas.
So that I can move on beyond you.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to think beyond whatever you're thinking. Right now you're thinking very small. Okay? You're thinking very small. Think big. Think that you have the power to be able to make decisions on all fronts. That's what you need to look at. You have that power. So let's start thinking that way. And Rich, you wanted to say something before we move on to Mace.
Yes, and thank you for the opportunity. I think, Bana, you are opening our third eyes in very bad dimensions. So I think we were going the wrong way, and going for one thing at a time is madness. So the problem that we have right now is, first of all, we've known the problem. Yes, the problem is the bad governance that we are seeing always. So how do we counter it and put a table for ourselves in that whole system that is there right now? Borrowing from the master of cake cutting, there's one big matron of cutting cakes in Kenya, who is Raila. He has always fought for his people. Even if he loses, his people always get seats in government. So I think at the moment that right now as we are here, my first suggestion would be, if governance and corruption is the problem that we are facing right now, and that's what we are fighting, and these issues are coming to bite us anyway, at the end of the day, in our businesses and in our families, in terms of the money that we are removing from our wallets to give government, then we need to have a seat as the youth, like women have in there. Women they cut their cake kitambo. They have women reps and whatever. Right now, we need maybe an ombudsman for every ministry in government, the whole of it, like from A to Z. If there is the upper government that is headed by Ruto, every ministry must have a Gen Z seat, yeah, a seat that is political first of all, and then it is well funded by government for it to audit each and everything that the government says, and the only responsibility it is charged with is to keep that ministry on toes. Whatever they said they will deliver, it must be delivered at a certain point in time and at a certain period, and then the money that is given to it must be able to be auditable in a way, so that office does not arise then and bring the Gen Z back to the streets to give the government headache to go on. I think that's a solution that maybe would benefit a lot of youth first of all, and also tackle the problem that we have at the moment of bad governance.
But you know, the funny thing about all this is, I don't know where Mnyamwezi went to, but the funny thing is that they have regrouped. Wameregroup. Anyway, Mariam, what do you want to say?
I want to first laugh and say that, ladies and gentlemen, finally you've gone back to your default settings. You're being honest that what you want is a piece of the pie. Because what we know, fact, we are overrepresented. We need to cut our government by a half. We have a bloated government. But you guys want to still go in and be part of the government instead of looking for a way to fix the system and cutting the government by a half. We do not need more representation, guys. Sasa penye merudi sasa ni pale penye you want nusu mkeka. That is the first thing I wanted to say. The second thing I wanted to say was
yes, that's what we want.
Exactly. So now you have gone back to honesty. We do not. The fact is, we do not need more representation in government.
No, but
we need to cut our government by a half.
Who said we do not need more representation? Why do you sound like CNN?
You already have representation.
But who said we do not need more representation? Who said that? Who made that statement?
You're already represented, guys.
Yeah, but who made that statement? Because when we were getting more representation, we already had representation. So who the fuck are you to tell us what we can and cannot do? When we were getting 47 new women reps, where were you?
You're already represented, but what
we are not represented. This constituency here has no representation. Show me somebody who looks like me in parliament. Show me somebody who talks like me.
You have Jalango. You have Jalango. Jalango looks like you. Jalango speaks like you.
Jalas is a guy from Shags. Jalas, me and him cannot openly sit and have a beer like buddies. No, we speak different languages.
You guys have had Kina Jaguar in parliament before. You've had Kina. All these guys are there. My God, I need. You have
no. These lazy procrastinators who run this economy right now online have no representation.
You have this other young guy who likes insulting you guys that you can't bug buddies. That's why you're in the streets. That guy is 100% you. I'm trying to remember his name. That is you 100%.
Which one?
Kibe. You guys have.
Which one?
What's his name? Rich, the guy who said